Alright guys, in this new video I would like to talk about liquidity and liquidity pools. So I don't know if I've spoken about this in a previous video, but liquidity, I said it's resting below, it's resting below lows and above highs. That's where liquidity is resting, right? But not only there, understand that liquidity is everywhere, you know. It's everywhere. It's like trader stop losses as well, and there's trader stop losses everywhere. So just know that liquidity primarily, yes, it's resting above highs and below lows, above highs and below lows primarily, right? Now there are some kind of highs and lows which are more likely targets for liquidity. Now, to explain this, we have four sessions primarily traded, which is the London session, we have New York session, we have the Asian session, and we have Sydney session. I would like to focus primarily on London, Asia, and New York, right? So with my trading view chart, my chart is in New York time, and I would advise the rest of you to learn New York time and put your trading charts in New York time. You will get used to it eventually. No matter what country you're in, put your charts in New York time because the markets run on New York time. Alright, so we are on our chart, right? And the Asian session, it starts from 6 p.m. New York to 2 p.m. New York, where now London session starts. So you see this black dotted line to this red dotted line, this is Asia session. This is the price movement in Asia session. We can see that after this red dotted line, from 2 a.m. New York time up until 8 a.m. New York time, this is London session. Now the same is from here, so from 8 a.m. New York time up until 6 again, this is New York session, and we have the New York AM session, and we have the New York PM session. So yeah, now you can see that here, if we want to mark out the high or the low within this Asian session range, we could have something like this. This is the Asian session high, and it could be used as a liquidity pool because people who may have traded during the Asian session could have their stop losses below the highs of Asian session or below the lows of Asian session. So here is the low of the Asian session. Alright, I'll just, let me see, can I move this? Oh, I didn't have it. Okay, but yeah, this is the low of the Asian session. You see that when the London session ends, price moves downwards and takes out the Asian session low, because price needs to do a liquidity sweep. And there's a lot of people who have different reasons for, oh, why does price sweep liquidity? But I would say, simply put, and the definition you would hear everywhere, is that it's trader stop losses. There's a bunch of people who can say different things, like, oh, okay, price just has to range, whatever, but this is the reason we're going to use. Okay, yes, people could say institutions need to fill their orders or whatever, but we will just say there's trader stop losses here. Stop losses need to get taken so institutions can fill their order. That's the simplest way I'm going to put it. You might learn whatever you want to learn later, but it's the simplest way for you to understand this, right? So price moves downwards, takes out this Asian session low, and what does it do? Price pushes higher. So that is called a liquidity sweep, where price takes out a liquidity pool, it does a liquidation and moves in the opposite direction. That's a liquidity sweep. So also, so this is, so you just need to know that session highs and lows, previous session highs and lows can work as liquidity. So if we looked at the London range, we will see that this is the London high. This is the London high. You see that this is London from 2 a.m. to 8. This is the London high. And then this, I don't know if this falls within London low. I'm trying to go back. Okay. Oh, that doesn't. Give me a second. Okay, this is the London high. And this should be the London low. If I've marked that correctly. This should be the London low. So yeah, this is how you mark these out. But you want to go on your chart and you want to use these times that I've shown you to be able to mark out previous session highs and lows. Now let's mark out New York. So New York, we have 8 a.m. New York time to 6. Mark out New York high. This is the New York high, New York session high, and the New York session low. Hope this makes sense. Let's look for other examples. Let me see. So I just like to use these vertical lines to make it easy for you to learn. If we put this here at 2 a.m. and we put this here at 8, we could have Asian session low, which is here. We could have Asian session high, which I don't know if this high took out, but we'll just say Asian session high is here. Yeah. Then London high, somewhere around here. So this is kind of how you mark these out. London session high is around here, and London session low is around here. It's here, yeah. Then New York session low is here. New York session high is here. So don't be confused, you'll understand these better as time goes on, but this is just basically me showing you how these are meant to look on your price chart. Okay, so we've learned what liquidity sweeps are, where price would take out stop losses in maybe a previous price leg or a previous trading session or whatever. Price takes out those stop losses so that institutions can fill their orders and push price higher or push price lower. Now we want to look at what we call a liquidity run. And a liquidity run is basically a liquidity sweep. However, price doesn't change direction. So this is a perfect example of this. Literally just saw this now. So you could mark this out and let's say liquidity right here. If you are expecting a liquidity sweep, you would be wrong, because this isn't a liquidity sweep, this is a liquidity run, right? Price takes out this high, but it doesn't retrace downwards. It doesn't sweep it, it runs it, because obviously, yes, it creates an imbalance after sweeping the high. It creates an imbalance after sweeping the high that shows that buyers have taken control of the market and they want to push price higher. So this is what you would call a liquidity run. Let me write that down so you don't forget. Okay. Yeah, this is what you call a liquidity run. Let's look for more liquidity sweeps. Okay, this is another one. This is a liquidity sweep where this is a high, price sweeps this high, it moves into this high, sweeps this high, it doesn't create an imbalance. You see that this candle right here, this blue candle, it rejects this high and pushes price lower. This is a liquidity sweep. So you see liquidity sweep, and what do we have here? Liquidity run, right? So these are the differences. Price moves into this level, pushes down, price moves into this level, this high, and continues moving higher. So those are the differences between them. Let me see, is there anything I haven't covered for this lesson? Okay, yeah, so just a recap of what we've learned. We've learned about sessions, trading sessions. We have the London session, New York session, Asian session. We have Sydney session as well. Also, we have session highs and lows, which are very good liquidity pools to trade from. And I will be showing you guys how to trade from these levels and some of the models that I use when I'm trading from these sessions. Then we also have, oh, one thing I didn't cover, sheesh. Previous day highs and lows. Okay. On my chart, you can see that I have these black dotted vertical lines, right? These lines are called session breaks, and they show me a day of price action. So from this black line to this black line is 1 day of trading. From this black line to this black line is 1 day of trading. So this is 1 day of price action on the Nasdaq micro. So yeah, this is 1 day of price action. So we could go to the daily time frame and let's look at what's happening on the daily time frame. We learned about time frames in the last video, I think, or maybe in this one. Learned about time frames, and we see that on the daily time frame, each of these daily candles represent 1 day of price movement. They represent 1 day of price movement. So good liquidity pools could also be in the form of previous day highs and lows. Yeah, previous day highs and lows. Jeez, why am I mixing my words? But yeah, previous day highs and lows. So to mark, well, how do you mark out a previous day highs and low? Previous day high and low. We have this day. This is the day we're on right now, Friday the 2nd of January. We have this previous day, which is Wednesday the 31st. So to mark out the previous day high, we just take our trend line, we click on the high, which is from the wick, click on it, and we mark that out. That's our previous day high. To mark our previous day low, click on the wick below, mark it out. This is previous day low, which you could call it PDL, and previous day high, which you call it PDH. That's how you mark them out. So you want to go on your chart and you want to practice marking these out. If you go to the daily time frame, see, 1 day, go to the daily time frame, you can practice marking these out. Let me give another example. If I go here, let's say I am trading on this day, which is another Friday, which is the 21st of November, this Friday. If I want to mark out my previous day highs and lows, I will go to this day, which is Thursday, and mark out this high, drag my trend line. We have PDH, previous day high, and mark out from this low. You see that even though it doesn't have a low, you mark out from this opening price where there's no wick, but you can still mark it out. Mark out here, this is a really good example. Previous day low. And that's how you basically mark them out. So hope you understand from this. You want to go on your chart and you want to practice every single one of these things that I'm showing you, so you get better at marking out all of these things. So I think we could wrap this one up. This was a good liquidity video. I will continue to make more of these. I know that liquidity is a bit of a difficult concept. Even me, I didn't understand it that much at first, but you will understand it more as time goes on.